Hey everybody, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm doing a fun manicure featuring Ritzy Dips and their beautiful color of Fantasy, which is a beautiful purple, teals, all different kinds of textures in there. We got chunky, we got the fine glitter in there, and chunky glitters, medium size, all the way from small up to the larger size of glitters. And then we got that beautiful pigmented Lucy, that light colored purple there, and this kind of just reminded me of like a mermaid look. I was really excited to try it out. So as you know, as we get started, we're going to buff the base of the nail. Want to make sure that everything is going to adhere well to it, and that doing this will make sure there's no lifting and will make our manicures last. So I'll let you guys watch that for a sec. All right, everybody, so I want to pop in and talk about this color from Ritzy Dips called Lucy. It is a beautiful, solid color that is so well pigmented. It's just a rich, pretty color. It's a simple one, but let me tell you what, it just goes on so good, and it's just rich. It's like you don't see some of these solid colors. I feel like it would take 100 dips to get a good pigmented color, but this one is just so rich and so evenly goes on, and it files down wonderfully. So I was excited to use this, but I have found that all of Ritzy Dips colors, all their solids, even if they're light, they just work so well. So as you can see, I am using the liquids, my double dip liquids, which are my favorite. I think they're great for beginners and for experienced dippers. It dries a little bit slower. They're not as expensive, which is a big score in my book, but they work so good. The activator does not crack my nails. I have had past experiences where activators from other brands will crack my nails, and this one doesn't. So I'm a big fan of the double dip liquids, so that's what I'm going to use during this manicure. And so we're starting the manicure process. As you can see, I've already done one round of dipping. So you guys, if you watch my channel and watch me do my manicures, I like to dip 3 times. So I'm doing my thumb, my index finger, and my pinky in that light color called Lucy for this manicure. And I will do 3 rounds of that. I think I'm on my second one here, and I'm going to take that brush and go on down closer to the cuticle. And so I do 3 times just because I like a good rich base, and that's just what I feel like I get if I do 3. You can do 2. I even think some of the instructions, like if you get the Revel Nail kit, they even say to do 2 dips, but I prefer to do 3. So of course it's all up to you and whatever you like to do. Then I'm going to brush all that off, and then we'll start on the glitter, my favorite. Now look how beautiful that chunky glitter is. So there's so many different ways you can apply chunky glitter. You can pour it over your nail, you can dip it, you can put it in a cupcake liner and just stick your finger down in that. There's just so many different ways. I kind of experiment with all of them. I don't really have a favorite way. I think I actually prefer most to just go ahead and dip my finger in. Most people seem to like to just pour it into like the cupcake liner and then stir it up and just lay their finger flat into it. I see a lot of people just that prefer to do it that way, and that way works pretty good for me too. But the main thing is just making sure that they're all flat, laying down on that nail, and that whenever you go to brush them off, that you get anything that is sticking up that doesn't belong, because let me tell you, honey, it's going to be a hot mess whenever you go to grind that down, because it's going to look horrible, and then you're going to lose the color of that beautiful, beautiful glitter. And who wants to destroy beautiful glitter? Not me. So guys, I will admit I'm going over this pretty slow. I wanted to slow this down and let you guys kind of see, because chunky glitter is the hardest to work with. I've only been dipping for about 6 months and I still have a big problem with it, but I enjoy doing it, so it doesn't really bother me. You know, to me, it's artwork, it's therapeutic, it's my, I don't know, it just kind of helps my stress. So it's like at the end of the day, or, you know, my kids are asleep, or I just, you know, want to get away and think about something, I can just turn some music on or turn The Office on in the background and just giggle and do my manicure. And so I don't mind going slow. Now, some people like to go fast, but and this doesn't work for them, so I guess that's why a lot of people go to the salon. But to me, this is so relaxing. So it's like artwork, so you'll see me just take my time and kind of move those glitters around where I want them. And so I slowed this down just so you guys can see that it takes a lot of practice and a lot of time and patience, but if you enjoy it, it's very much worth it. So I did slow this down for you guys. I hope that it doesn't bother y'all too much. So I just took a sample plastic bag that I had and just used that to press down that glitter. I mean, I could have used my finger, but there's something about, I like using that plastic bag or any kind of little plastic sample baggie and press that down. I just find that it helps me whenever I use my finger. Sometimes the glitters will come up with my finger, you know, and it'll come off anyways. And so if I use that little baggie, it just seems like they just stick and flatten. I had just something new that I just found that kind of worked. So nothing fancy or anything, just something new I found, and it's working. So thought I'd share that with you guys. Okay, so I am now ready to work on that ring finger. And so I'd already done my first dip with that, and so it has dried. I've let it have time to dry. So I'll take that brush and I'm going to clean up over that nail. And as I did that, the ones that weren't sticking good, they'll come off. Now, if I raised my finger up, you probably would have been able to see that there were some that were lifted. And I'm going to take those cuticle nippers and I'm just going to go ahead and pull them off. Even though they stuck there, they're still raising up. So I need those glitters to be flat on the nail, because like I said earlier, it's just going to be a disaster whenever I go to file. So I took the cuticle nippers and went ahead and pulled the ones off that were still kind of raised up but sticking, but not all the way down. So then I've put the the base coat over it again, and I'm going to dip the finger again. And here, while it's still wet, the base coat, I'm just going to move those glitters around to where I want them and clean up that cuticle. Okay, so here I am again, taking that little sample bag, and can you see there? Can you see how it's all laying flat? Those glitters are laying flat on that nail. That is so important, guys. That's so important. Look how pretty, look how gorgeous that looks. Oh, those colors are just gorgeous. So now I'm going to start the ombre look. And it's kind of the same thing with that. You know, we want to make sure everything's flat. And you're just going to move the glitters around to where you want them while it's still wet. So I'm just going to put some on that side there. Just, you know, that's giving it the ombre look. So pretty. So I don't hardly have any chunky glitters in that, and I've got to have some chunky. So I'm going to hand place them myself. I'm just added some of that base coat onto the nail, and I take those nail sticks and just dip it in there on the nail where it's wet, and then I'm going to go in that little cupcake liner, and I'm going to find the glitter I want myself, and I'm going to go and I'm just going to put it exactly where I want it. So that is the trick to a beautiful ombre look, just placing those glitters where you want them. Okay guys, it's time to encapsulate those beautiful glitters, and I am going to be using Revel Nail's Vivian to encapsulate, and that is just protecting those glitters, because as I've said before, if you file on glitter, it takes off the color of that, because like all glitter is like some dull kind of silvery look color, I don't know, but anyways, it'll ruin the integrity of that color. So we're going to encapsulate. We're going to encapsulate that glitter. So we're going to do that again with this Revel Nails Clear, and it is called Vivian. And so it's so simple to do. You just put the base coat on, dip it into that clear, bring it up and clean up the cuticle line with those nail sticks. And sometimes if it stays a little bit wet, you can go ahead and dip it again, and it'll come out and it'll look really, really dull and ugly, and you're like, what the heck have I done to my beautiful glitter nail? And it scared me when I first started doing that. I was like, I've ruined them, but it's totally not the case. It actually protects them and makes them look beautiful. So that is the importance of encapsulation. Alright guys, here I am using the famous ergo file, and let me tell you, this buddy is hard to find, or it's not hard to find, it's hard to get. Most of the time it's out of stock on Amazon, but Bonafide Beauty, who makes it, also knows how much people want it, so they're constantly trying to restock. But it's a nice little instrument here. It really helps the cuticle line to be smooth and just helps your cuticles looking so nice. It's kind of awkward trying to use it, but once you get it down, got that groove going, it just really makes a difference in the outcome of your cuticles and your manicure. And this step here, the buffing, using the little buffing blocks, which you can get on Amazon too, you can get like 200 of them for nothing. But man, this is the most important thing. It just really buffs out all those little fine lines and waves and any kind of little crevices you got. It helps give it some good shine. So very important step. Don't ever forget it, because it will make a huge difference and you will notice if you do. All right, guys, it's time to activate. It's our second activation time, which is so exciting because it means we're nearing the end. And after you activate, you're going to make sure you let this sucker set in for about 2 minutes so we can cure those nails, and they are going to stay strong for your whole time of wearing them. And this manicure that I actually have on right now, I've had it on. This recording was done like over a week ago, so I've had this on for over a week, and they still look as good as they did when I first applied or did the manicure. All right, so after I let that set for like 2 minutes, I'm taking this little cloth here, my paper towel, and I'm going over each and every one of those nails, and I'm making sure there is no activator left on those nails, because as you know, I say this in every single video, but if you're new to my channel, if you do not clean those nails off, those nail beds, there will probably be some activator left, and that activator mixing with your top coat that we're using right now will ruin your brush and your liquid. It will contaminate it, and it will end up curing your brush and your liquid, and it will be foggy, it'll look awful, and you won't be able to smooth out that top coat for a beautiful shine to your manicure. And as you can see, if I go back in and I dip into that top coat, I always wipe my brush off first before I take it back into that bottle. So this is the first round of top coat application. See, I'm dipping. See, I'm wiping that off right there. Yep. Before I went into that bottle, I wiped it off. Okay, so you do 2 rounds of top coat. The first one is kind of quick strokes. Now we're on the second rounding, and this is my favorite because it's the grand finale of these beautiful nails, and these are slower, more precise, and this is what gives it just makes me so happy, the ending of this. Also, you don't want to overbrush, because I have done that in the past too, and then it ends up ruining the manicure. It starts to look all foggy like, and they're not clear, they're not shiny at all. So just slow, go over the tips and go over the side walls of those nails, which will help prevent any kind of lifting. Just don't overbrush it, because it just ruins. I don't know why, I don't know the science behind it, but it does. So just make sure you do a couple. Oop, I'm getting nervous because I'm about ready to do it too many times right there. And then we'll let those dry, and then we'll put on the beautiful smell of cuticle oil. Okay, it's time for cuticle oil, guys, and I'm using my favorite Grimes Ridge cuticle oil, and this one is in Basic Witch, and it smells heavenly, and I pretty much drenched my whole nails and my hands in this. You need to probably apply this a couple times a day. First of all, it moisturizes your nails, your cuticles. It makes them all nice and smooth and moisturized, and then it has just a heavenly scent to it. And just makes your hands feel so soft and smells so good. So thanks everybody for watching. I would really appreciate if you would subscribe to my channel and give me a thumbs up. And until the next beautiful manicures, take care, guys, and bye-bye.